A warm welcome to all the dignitaries present here. We, the team members Dhanalakshmi, Harshita, Hinatat, are here to give presentation on our project uterine fibroid detection using machine learning approach. Following are the agenda of today's presentation. Before getting to know what are uterine fibroids, let's know, can fibroids be cancerous? Yes, fibroids can be cancerous, but the chance of happening is only about 1%. This means most of the fibroids are not cancerous. Now let's know what are uterine fibroids. Uterine fibroids are non-cancerous tumors that grow in or around the uterus. Leiomyoma, fibromyoma, myoma are the alternative name of uterine fibroids. Fibroids are also composed of extracellular matrix, and it is the most common tumor found in female pelvis. Classification of uterine fibroids. It can grow anywhere inside the uterus and are named according to their origin. Myometrial or intramural fibroid. These type of fibroids they develop in and around the wall of uterus. Submucosal fibroid. These type of fibroids they grow under the surface of uterine lining. Subserosal fibroid. They grow exactly below the external layer of the uterus. Pedunculated fibroid. These type of fibroids they develop on a long stalk on the external and internal layer of the uterus. Among these type of fibroids, submucosal and intramural fibroid causes infertility and increase the risk of miscarriages. Following are the symptoms that we come across. Heavy bleeding during periods, sometimes with blood clots, which can be heavy enough to cause anemia. Periods that may last longer than normal. Frequent urination. Pelvic cramping. Feeling fullness in pelvic area or pressure in the lower belly area or enlargement of lower abdomen. Lower back pain. Fibroid affects implantation and fertility and stratifies their impact on the basis of size, location, and nature. Literature survey. As literature survey is one of the important phase in project, as it describes the existence of previous work. These are some of the important papers that we have referred to build our project. In the first paper, the author uses minimally invasive technique of tissue eating and ablation, which has been promising tool for treatment of various pathological diseases, particularly uterine fibroid. He found that the treatment procedure was feasible and it passed all the quantity assurance validation. In the second paper, the author uses magnetic resonance imaging of both the pregnant and non-pregnant women, considering it separately. He also found the factors which affect the growth of fibroids based on the size of fibroid and the number of fibroid. In the following paper, the author uses magnetic resonance imaging to examine uterine fibroid epidemiology and to evaluate the relative strengths of risk factors, which identified the risk factors which play an important role in uterine fibroid epidemiology. In the seventh paper, the author uses uterus ultrasound image scanning, which distinguishes the normal and fibroid images, where he uses a PPN classifier and evaluates the performance based on sensitivity, specificity, and classification accuracy. He achieved the classification accuracy of 95.1%. Further slides will be continued by Hina.
As abstract plays an important role in any project implementation, the objective of this survey was to characterize system burden, patient awareness, and treatment decision making for fibroids, including a comparison among women of various backgrounds, because women will experience uterine fibroid, which is a main cause of specific disease in women of a reproductive age and many times even after menopause, and it is an unpopular disease. In this proposed model, review is conducted in already available information on uterine fibroids, but this model is built for the detection of uterine fibroids, which can be treated medically, surgically, and even with minimal available techniques. Coming to the another important part, objectives. This objective of a model was detection and recommendations on fibroid on the basis of accessibility of quality data that can be used in clinicians, professional societies across patients and user organizations, and even in the institutions for the awareness of the students and even the illiterate people because of this unpopular disease, and it is used for the characterized symptoms, patient awareness, and testament for fibroids and to improve quality of health. The obtained model is used to analyze to draw conclusion related to uterine fibroid disease, its causes, effects, and the natural history of fibroid development. From the obtained results, we show the relative efficacy of accessible treatment preferences for uterine fibroids, which is detected as best and better of the model. These are the hardware and the software requirements that we have been used for the project implementation. The following is a methodology that we have been carried out. First is data preparation, where we have collected ultrasound scanned images of uterus from the various hospitals and on ongoing websites. And the second is pre-processing, which plays a major role in implementation, that is to remove the unnoisy data and get the enhanced image of the uterus. The third is modeling and performance analysis, which detects the model is better or best, where we can be constructed with the help of attributes extracted from pre-processing technique. This is carried out to a specific category by using classifier algorithms. This is the implemented flowchart for our model implementation. That is, first we collected the ultrasound input images, then we have done image processing where the unnoisy data is removed, then data augmentation, which plays major role because the lack of data cannot be found in a very short span of time. This data augmentation will give us the amount of data which we are required. And the second part could be data set of uterine fibroid, that is in a CSV or text format. Then again pre-processing will be done to remove the unnoisy data. Then feature extraction is done according to our model implementation, the attributes that we have used, and classifies using the classifier algorithms like convolutional neural network, decision tree, and so on. And it fits into the performance analysis to detect whether the best and the accuracy for our model. Next will be carried out by Harshita.
Coming to the performance analysis, which is the most important step, the first step that we have is a data augmentation. As data collected is very small and imbalanced, in order to train the neural network model, data augmentation step is implemented. Initially, we had almost 63%, that is 186 images which are tumorous, and 37%, that is 102 images which are non-tumorous. So in order to balance this, 9 new images for every image which belongs to no class and 6 new images for every image which belongs to yes class will be generated. After running data augmentation notebook, we have around 1119 yes examples and 919 no examples. So in the second step, we have a data or image pre-processing. Image collected are of different shape and size. Hence, pre-processing is the main step which need to be done in order to achieve more accuracy. So which has the following steps. So initially, we have an image which will be read and it will be cropped to an extent where uterine fibroid will be present. In the second step, image will be resized to a scale ratio of 240 into 240, that is image width and height. Finally, the image will be normalized to a scale pixel from 0 to 1. And the third step that we have is data splitting, where splitting of a data will be conducted in following ratios. So initially, we'll be taking 70% of data for training, 15% for validation, and 15% for testing. So in this slide, we have a neural network architecture which depicts convolution neural network model, which is used for training and building the model. So convolution neural network is developed with help of pre-processed and augmented image. Each input augmented and normalized will be a fact which will be served as an input which pass through the following layers. So in the first layer, we have a zero padding layer where the pool size is equal to 2 cross 2. The second layer we have is a convolution layer which has 32 filters and the filter size is equal to 7 cross 7 and stride value equal to 1 pixel will be applied. This convolution layer, it performs an operation of training and firing neurons of network, and it performs a convolution operation over input volume which consists of 3-dimensional arrangement of neurons. In the third layer, we have a batch normalization layer where the images will be normalized to a pixel in order to speed up the computation process. So in the fourth layer, we have a ReLU activation layer. Here, ReLU refers to the rectifier unit, which is most commonly deployed activation function, which is used for output for CNN neuron. And in the fifth and sixth layer, we have a maximum pool layer where the pool size equal to 4,4 is used. This pooling layer will be placed always after the convolution layer, which is used to reduce the spectral dimension without affecting depth dimension of volume of an image. The seventh layer that we have is a flattened layer. So in order to compress the 3D matrix to one-dimensional vector, this layer will be used. The final layer that we have is the fully connected dense layer, which consists of output of all the previous layers, and this can be further implemented in order to construct desired number of output and epochs for an image to estimate the performance. So in this, we have training the model. These are the graphs which are obtained for the loss and accuracy. At the best iteration of the model is obtained at 16 iteration. Now coming to the results and discussion, this table provides us a brief overview about how the data splitting has happened. As we said earlier, 70% data, that is around 1426, is used for training data, 306 is used for validation and testing respectively. So we get a brief overview of how the data splitting has happened over here. Coming to the final output of the model, so we have almost 94.4% accuracy for the validation set and 93.41% of accuracy to the test set and 94.46% of reference score for the validation set, 93.45% of reference score for the test set. By seeing this performance model, we can get to know that it is a good model. It claims to be a good model because the data is being balanced and accuracy levels are high. So the next slides will be proceeded by Hina.
As healthcare is one such area where problem identification and analysis of medical data can provide good results with the help of machine learning algorithms, early detection increase awareness by early reporting to the hospital, which will reduce morbidity and improve quality of life socio-economically. The uterine fibroid diagnosis is such a kind application where machine learning techniques can be applied. Although machine learning techniques can be applied to any area, it is observed that many researchers have not explored the above said technique for detection and analysis of uterine fibroid. Now coming to conclusion and future scope of our project, fibroids are the most common uterine tumor in human which usually occur at menopausal stage. This model suggests an automated system for detection of uterine fibroid using machine learning techniques which will help to advise women regarding fibroid or uterus removal as well as precise timings of various surgical and medical consultations. This will create awareness and improve quality of health of women. The model is developed to detect uterine fibroid using ultrasound images with 94.44% accuracy and 94.46% reference score. This model has used convolutional neural network algorithm to show results of model. However, other model will also be built for comparative study to get more accuracy. The assemble of algorithms is planned to use for future work to know the life cycle of fibroids and the developing factors, both in the pregnant and non-pregnant women. In further study, other statistical and frequency domain attributes applications will be considered. Further, it will be carried out by Dhanalakshmi.
Publication. We have presented our paper, Uterine Fibroid Detection using Machine Learning Approach in first annual international conference on data science, machine learning and blockchain technology, where our paper has been accepted and has been published. Certificates have been attached. Comment on commercialization of the project and targeted users. The machine learning model that we have built, it can be used in professional societies across patients, which helps the doctors to do analysis and research. Here, the targeted users are both the doctors and the patients. The model will help the doctors in decision making for early detection, and it increases awareness among the patients to avoid complicacy. The developed model will profit both the doctors and patients across the world. Ashita will carry on.
These are the references that we have used to implement our model. Thank you. Further demonstration will be carried out. Now let's get started with the demonstration of our project. First, I would like to share about the organization of folders. So this is the main uterine folder that we have, among which we have subfolders called as org practice, logs, models, no, yes, and convolutional neural architecture. So in the org practice, we'll be having two subfolders, yes and no, which contains augmented data of an images. We have totally 2038. In the log folder, we have log files. In the model folder, we have all the models that have been updated automatically, which is used for implementing our model. No and yes, these are the two subfolders that are the original images that we have collected to train the model. Since we have less number of images, we have used data augmentation process, which will be further explained. Main folder, which consists all the codes that is required for backend and frontend. We have it for subfolders like data, which consists of all test, train, valid, and predict images. And this all the folders will be having two subfolders, yes and no, which will be automatically updated after data splitting. In the static folder, we'll be having all the images, CSS, fonts, and JavaScript files that are used for designing our frontend. In the templates file, we have all the HTML files that we have used for our web application. In the utility codes, we have all the codes from Jupyter Notebook, and which we have stored it as bgt16sn no.ehfile extension, because each time will not be able to load an entire model, which is time consuming. So we have stored in .hfile extension, which can later be used whenever required. And this utility file is a Python file which connects the client and server, that is backend and the frontend. We have used Anaconda software, and in Jupyter Notebook, these are the main files that we have used. So in the first, these are the CNN algorithm, data augmentation, prediction, and predict app. The first step that we are used to implement the model is data augmentation, and that will be explained by Dhanlakshmi.
As the dataset that we have collected is very small and imbalanced to train the neural network model, data augmentation step is implemented to create more images. The following packages have been implemented to build our model. HRMS string is implemented to show the time of epochs run. In order to balance the data, 9 new images for every image belongs to no class and 6 images for every images that belongs to S class will be generated. These images will be directly uploaded to their respective folders, that is S folder and no folder, where the S folder contains the humorous examples and the no folder contains the non-humorous examples. And finally, the resultant dataset consists of 1,119 positive examples and 919 negative examples. Altogether, there are totally 2,038 examples, which is enough to build our model accurately. Next notebook will be continued by Hina.
Convolutional neural network is used to build a model. Here we first import the libraries, then we import the images in the crop the images to remove the excess image, and it is displayed as shown in the desktop. Then we load these cropped images in the format of one array, and we import the augmented data, which was explained by my friend Dhanalakshmi. Then we display the plot sample images to see whether the cropped images are in the correct format or not, that is in the no and S format as shown in the desktop. Then we split the data using 3 steps: train, test, and validation. Here training we use 70%, test we use 15%, and validation we use 15%. This running test time is calculated by HMS string. Then to compute F1 score, we use compute F1 score function. Then we build the model using the convolutional neural network, that is 7 layers, like input, zero padding, convolutional 2D, batch normalization, activation, and so on. Then we give the image shape, width, in height, and we after importing the model, building the model, we give the summary for the model. This is the displayed summary for a model, and we first run, then compile and feed the model and run in epochs. We have run approximately 30 epochs, but we have got the good accuracy at the 16th iteration only. Then, by using the history data of the epochs, we calculate the plot matrix, that is loss and accuracy. This loss and accuracy is calculated by the previously all the history we have used. This is the graph we have been used for our calculated for our model, and the best model we have calculated at the 16th iteration, and it is loaded, that is 93%. This best model will be then evaluated to test the loss and accuracy. Then again F1 score and accuracy will be calculated in the percentage format. Here we can see the total number of training data, validation data, and test data. The training data could be 1,426, validation could be 306, and testing could be 306. At this level, we have got the best accuracy that is 94.44% validation test, 93.41% test set, and 94.416% F1 score validation set, 93.45% F1 score test set. This is a performance table for our model implementation or building of the model. Further, the prediction notebook will be carried on by Harshita.
After applying convolutional neural network algorithm and creating a model, now it's important for us to check how it exactly works on a prediction. So this notebook helps us to do that. So initially for the setup, we are going to import all the libraries and the packages that is required. Then we mention the part for train, test and validate, where exactly all the images that we have collected will be split in the ratio of 70% and 15% each for valid and test, and it will automatically upload in the location or the path that we have mentioned. Once that is done, we are going to create a train batch, valid batch and test batch, where each of the batches will be having two classes, yes and no, and we can mention any number of batch size. For train batch, we have taken 10, for valid batch, we have taken 5, and for test batch, we have taken 5. So once that is done, we have a definition called as plot, which is used to plot all the uterine fibroid images. So here we are, and mainly to label, because the images cannot be directly encoded by the computer. So it's important for us to label in binary terms 0 and 1. So what we have done here is for tumorous, for all the images which belongs to tumorous, that is where the uterine fibroid is present, we have labeled it as 1, 0, and for non-tumorous, we have labeled it as 0, 1. So after labeling is done, to know how exactly the label has been done, so here we have in 448 line, we have the next of train batches. That means from the train batches, we are going to randomly select 10 images and we'll check how it is exactly labeled. So yeah, 0, 1 is nothing but for the first image 0, 1, which belongs to non-tumorous one, and 1, 0 is the one which belongs to tumorous class, and so on. Once that is done, already we had saved our notebook in .h5 extension. So we are going to import that and we start predicting. So after this, from the test batch, we are going to import randomly 5 images. As we can see, the first 2 images belongs to yes category, next 2 images no category, and the last one to yes. So it's quite difficult for us to easily understand this label in 2 dimensions. So what we do is we are going to convert this 2 dimension to 1 dimension. So I'm just going to highlight this array. So after converting that, it has given the output to be 1, 1, 0, 0, 1, which means 1 represents the tumorous and 0 represents non-tumorous. After doing that, so we have a function called as model.predictGenerator. So here we have imported our model and we are using a predictGenerator function to predict. But when we see here, it is predicting all to be yes class, which is not correct. So in order to understand this, we are going to plot a confusion matrix for this. So from this, we can easily get to know for all the images that belongs to yes class, it has classified correctly to be yes. But for the images that belongs to no class, it is again classified as yes, which is not correct. So the next step that we are supposed to do is we have to fine tune our model. So for fine tuning our model, we have used a technique called as VGG16. So from the keras, we have a function called as VGG16 and we're going to import that model. And once we import that, we're going to just check the summary of it. And after doing that, we are going to import our model, and after training with this VGG16 model, we are going to check our model summary, which entirely differs from previous one and the next whatever the model that we have created right now. And now after training this, we have to compile our model and we're going to fit the generator and we run the number of epochs. For here we have run almost like 30 epochs. After running the 30 epochs, it's time for us to predict this fine-tuned VGG16 model. So now let's see how the prediction is done after fine-tuning the model using VGG16. So first we are going to randomly display 5 images of test images. Then we check out, then we convert this 2-dimensional array into 1-dimensional for our preference so that we can understand it properly. So here we have 0, 1, 0, 1, 1. So which means 1 represents tumorous image and 0 represents non-tumorous image. After predicting the model using predictGenerator, these are the results that are obtained. So in the first image, as you can see, we have got a ratio decimal of 0.2, that is round off to 0, and 0.7, that is round off to 1. So the first image is correctly predicted to be 0, 1, that belongs to no non-tumorous. And for the second array, we have got a prediction to be 0.76 and 0.23, that is equal to when it is round off 1,0 and it has predicted properly. We can check for another 5 images which are correctly predicted. For our claiming, we have just displayed this confusion matrix where we can understand the 3 images which belongs to yes categories are correctly displayed and 2 images which belong to no category are correctly classified. So which claims that our model is being best in producing an accuracy because all the images that we had given for test is correctly predicted. So the next step is to use a Python notebook where we import this H5 model. After running all this notebook, that is data augmentation, convolution neural network, and the prediction, now it's important for us to write a Python program which helps us to connect both front end and the back end. So for doing that, the first we are going to import whatever the required libraries, and then since we are using a Flask, which is a web application which used to connect both front end and back end, it is a web server application. So first we are going to import the Flask. Once that is done, we are going to get the model that we had saved earlier in .h5 extension. After doing that, we check in the preprocessed image definition if whatever the image that we have imported is of grayscale or not. If it's not grayscale, it will convert to a grayscale and then it will be resized and converted to an array in order to label it. So once that is done, our model will be loaded, from which the function predict help us to predict whether whatever the image that we have imported belongs to yes category or no category, and it directly gives us a response by mentioning it in percentage. And this response will be sent to the front-end application, which will be explained later. Now, in order to get started with a Flask application, the first step that we have to do is we have to move directly to a desktop, because I have placed all my important files related to the front end and back end in that folder. So cd utilines codes, that is where I've kept all my codes. After running that, we are supposed to use a Python uterine.py, so which is used for connecting both server and client. So once that is done, we can see that running on HTTP. So once this image, once this command is displayed, we can get started with our web server application. Now to initialize this Flask web server application, we have to type a command called as localhost:5000, which displays our front end of our pages.
This is the first page of the web application. In the header column, we have the logo named after our teammates. There are 3 main pages: login, blog, hospitals. As we scroll down, on the left-hand side, we can see the information about the uterine fibroids. On the right column, there is a registration form, which is the first step to be filled by the clients. Once the registration is done, the page will be redirected to the login page. Let's click on the login button, which will be redirected to the prediction page.
Once we log in, the client will be given an option to predict. It will be redirected to a predict page where he'll be given an option to insert an image. Let's click on choose file, where randomly we'll just click on some image. So the image will be uploaded. Now let's click on the predict button to know its accuracy. After clicking, we get an information that uterine fibroid predicted yes in the percentage of 97 and no in the percentage of 2.6. And yes, whatever the image that I had uploaded was the uterine fibroid one. So we can claim that our model has predicted correctly. So we have other 2 pages which are important in our web application. So this is a blog page. So once we load this blog page, here any client or a customer or a patient who wants to know about uterine fibroid with respect to the symptoms or treatment can go to it, where it is simplified and it is given. The first thing that we have is the symptoms of uterine fibroid. And then next, the treatments alternatives that are available for a patient. And the uterine fibroid risk factors. About an imaging test that need to be done, and we also can get to know whether uterine fibroids turn into a cancer. It's just a blog which gives brief overview about the uterine fibroid, and the person who is interested about it can surely go through it.
Another web application page is hospitals. When we click on the hospital logo, we get the recommendation of some of the hospitals for the uterine fibroid treatment. As mentioned in the page, these are some of the hospitals for the recommendations. Once we click on the logout button, it will redirect us to the registration or login page.
Thank you.